You're such an asshole.
We have an original. Someone paid me to do an original, and this is one that kind of got in the back of my head. I touched on it a little bit a couple of videos ago when I was promoting Dr. Anwar Dunbar. And I just wondering, like, it's like after a while, after decades and trillions of dollars, I've always found it interesting as an economist, and I guess to a broader extent a sociologist. That's like, when do we say these various sociological and government experiments have failed? Like, when do we say, hey, after $40 trillion and 6 decades of a welfare program, or if we want to do a micro analysis, like using the American Indian community, when do we say free unearned money is like kind of the root of all destruction? Not necessarily evil, but the quickest way to destroy a community or a city or something is just give them unearned money. And what I really like to point out, because you could talk nationwide, and it kind of makes it impersonal, and look at macro. The data's there, but I like looking at large liberal Democrat controlled cities. I'm like, okay, look, you've had the rule of the roost for half a century now here. You've had pretty much every possible government program and socialist, leftist, academic dream come true. Anything that comes out of your labs, out of academia, oh, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. It always ends up in the same outcome. What's that outcome, Aaron? That outcome is adult Democrats crapping in the streets. And I'm wondering, like, you wonder, can it get worse? Like, can it get worse than adults crapping in the street, heroin addicts? There's a video of this guy. He's shoving a thing up his ass. He's got his pants down. He's up against it. He's just shoving, and he sees he's being filmed. He don't care. And Juan, the Aztec patriarch, he lives in San Francisco, or the San Francisco area, and he takes pictures of homeless people defecating and urinating in the streets. And I always wonder, it's no longer about economics or helping out your fellow man or a particular community or the nation or anything like that. To me, it has become a macabre fascination as to how delusional are you going to be to keep your Marxist, leftist, socialist, Democrat religion up? How many more millions of lives of people? Not that you're ending. That would be merciful if you ended their lives. Like, how many? We're going to go adult Democrats pooping in the streets, huh? That's what we're going to give out, heroin needles? I mean, go to Tacoma. It's great. Seattle. Tacoma is interesting. I don't know what it was. Maybe I was in a particular name, but Seattle, okay, yeah, you got your gutter punks and all that. But Tacoma was like the retirement community for gutter punks. They're all Gen Xers and they're all tatted up. They finally found a job. Hey, we're working on a micro brew. Oh, good for you, Skippy. How is that 401k that you should have been contributing to all this time? Did the religion of Kurt Cocaine? You came out here in 1997, huh? You thought you were going to, how's your life now? And I just look like it's kind of like a warped version of, you want to go to Pol Pot and look at him and say, well, there's a mass grave you just made and your economy's gone to pot. Like, did you make the connection? Like, you got the Holodomor, like all the starving Ukrainians, you go to Stalin, like, well, you can't even feed your own people. There's the lines over there, and you got to constantly arrest people. You got to connect the dots that this thing don't work. And I got to go to the not the rank and file Democrats. They got too much money involved. That's their career, right? But I got to go to the you truly stupid, ignorant, short-sighted, normie people, Democrats. I vote Democrat because it's for the little people. I just want to help out. And I want to point out, you see the guy fingering his asshole over in San Francisco? Do you see the people defecating in the streets? Do you see the human feces? Have you been to Portland? Do you look at what would have normally been men have turned into these androgynous, weak walking plants that also defecate? When do you see the tents? Do you see the homeless? Did you see the burning buildings by chance? Did any of you catch that on the television? Like, do you make the can we say it's not working now? How many more generations of poor Black people do we have to send and bring through poverty and government housing and crime and danger? And all? Are we gonna double down on this again now? And though not solely this group of people's responsibility, it's not. But this group of people, and that is liberal white women, as far as I've been alive, have been constantly, if not like, again, lots of participants, lots of party, but they're kind of like the core proponents of this failed ideology of free money. That's basically it. And I think maybe minority communities, poor people in general, are kind of waking up and saying, hey, when the white lady shows up saying she's going to help us, like the social worker, let me ask you this. We do have a fair amount of a Black, Hispanic minority and poor people as well. I was working security one time, and without going into details, I had to watch over a prisoner. And in comes Bipsy, the suburbanite white girl. And, like, was it a cop? Wasn't the lawyer? I'm like, who are you? Well, I'm from the state or the county or something. I'm like, okay. Well, I'm here to give him some information. I'm like, all right. And wow, now that I think about this, happened a couple times. All white girls. One was to give a flyer about your rights or something to this guy, and I think this guy had a criminal record longer than my schlong. Okay, it was extensive. And here's your right. Da, 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 da. And then there was another one where they came in. Are you being okay? Are you treated all right? Are you okay? Let me ask everyone this. If you were poor and you had ran into social services, not due to crime or anything, but maybe it was teaching or the counselor or whatever, did that help? Did the liberal white lady from the suburb help? And what you got to realize is that no matter how much they protest, no matter how much, and you could argue white women are in the position of power, and look at Nancy Pelosi, for God's sake. I mean, there's some merit to that, but I'm not even necessarily focusing on that. If anything, it's because whites are still the majority of the population, and so the influence, if you want to look at it demographically, would skew liberal white women. They wield too much power in too much direction. But what concerns me about liberal white women is not that they're women or white, but that it's their psychology of how to help people, which is not really how to help people. And I'm old enough now, I'm going to start calling the shots. I'm not waiting for another 3 generations of Black people to be brought up under poverty. I'm not waiting until I'm 50 years old. I've dealt with these girls now, and I saw I think it's 2 mayors ago, liberal white woman to the rescue. I'm going to help out the minorities of Minneapolis. The former mayor of Minneapolis, I think 1 or 2 ago, white girl from Wayzata, never worked a day in her life. And oh my God, I mean, you guys voted in Whitmer again, right? You guys voted in Whitmer. Hey, white lady to the rescue. How is Detroit? Is Detroit better now? Michigan, a pinnacle of economic success? That's what I thought. Anyway, let me explain to you why when the liberal white women come in, you got to run the other way. They are not there to help you. That's what they ostensibly say. Hell, some of them might believe it. But deep in the recesses of their mind, or perhaps even more cognizantly, consciously in the frontal cortex, they're not doing this to help you or anyone else or the poor or minorities or maybe even arguably women themselves. They're doing it because they want to be popular. I saw this going all the way back to the 80s, dude. These girls come out from the suburbs. And it's like this weird, there was still an element of traditionalism, like girls would wear dresses. Oh, you missed out. The 80s were great. But there's this contingent of girls, like your proto-SJWs, and they're going to save the world. Now, in our day, it was like the Ethiopians were starving. Why? Because they implemented a Marxist government. It's not that they didn't have food. There actually are Ethiopian restaurants. Not the worst food ever, actually. It's kind of clean, not oily at all. It's all right. It's not bad at all. Oh, we're going to help the Ethiopians save the environment. In the big day, it was the rainforests. And I'm like, there's this contingent, this cabal, this proto star of mass forming where they're coalescing around this. I'm going to save the planet. Captain Planet was coming out around that time a little bit more. I think that was early 90s. Well, now and then they went to college. I saw a lot of that there. Oh, we're going to help out. We're going to help out. And now they're my age. And now, notably, they're in positions of power. Governor of Michigan, mayor of Minneapolis. What's her name? Who is the gal? There were two of them. They wasted their entire lives not having family. They had families, but didn't pay attention to them. Facebook gal? Why can't I remember? And then Marissa Myers, former Yahoo executive. All right. And why? Why be an executive or Democrat? Not Republican. Why were they that? Why? Why did they recommend the thing that destroys all societies, and that is unearned money? Why did they recommend that? Because they wanted to be popular. They don't give a rat's ass about helping out poor people. They don't give a rat's ass about the income, let alone life expectancy gap between blacks, whites, and then Asians. I don't know why we keep aiming. Well, if you're going to aim high. Don't aim for white standards of living. Aim for Asian standards of living and Asian life expectancies. I don't know why you're settling for second best. And here's another one, shock. They're not doing it because they want to help out the poor. They're doing it, wanting to be popular so that they could go ahead and they're not thrown out. This goes way back into the survival days. Because if you weren't popular, if you didn't agree with all the girls in the tribe, they'd throw you out or kill you. So I understand the biological compunction there. But do you think they actually give a rat? Don't you think, like with the welfare state, don't you think with all the advice the white women, the liberal white women were going to give out, and then don't you think if it worked, it would have worked by now? But you know what? Out of all those nonprofits and academic jobs and government grants to study the poverty, white woman to the rescue. You know what happened? They sure made a lot of money now in the process now, didn't they? A lot of government grants. Holy cow. Nonprofits. We raised $100 million. 98 million went to our salaries. 2 million went to 1.9999999 million went to a great New Year's Eve gala to raise awareness. And here's your penny, my fine black friend who is poor. There's your penny. I helped out the black people. I'm such a good liberal white woman. And all I'm saying is, like, in Lord of the Rings, Frodo had the ring, right? It'd stir up. And those scary dudes on the horses with the armor were coming? The wraiths or whatever they were. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and the 7 horsemen, whatever. I think the Lord of the Rings guys are a lot scarier. I know it's in the Bible, like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. You didn't have any pictures in the Bible to really scare. You watch the original Lord of the Rings, like, oh man, those things are scary. When you hear the liberal white women are coming, that's what's coming for you. That pain and destruction and misery and poverty is what's coming for you. Oh, it's painted nice and pretty. The liberal white women just loves everybody so much with other people's money. Hey, liberal white women, have you ever actually used your own money to solve these problems? Or is it just vote for other people's money so I feel good and can jerk off to myself? And ultimately, the final point, aside from warning everybody else, when the liberal white woman cometh, it's like the Lord of the Ring race coming after you, except maybe it's like, oh, but here's a free sandwich or free government money, right? The same destruction is about to befall you. It's the overall point I wanted to bring up and show you here. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is because if they actually cared about you being whatever noble sacrificial cause, the poor, the children, minority, disadvantaged, don't you think with liberal white women more or less being at the head of this movement, certainly now, don't you think after 60 years, 40 trillion, this is just the United States, don't you think we would have solved the problem by now? And the reason I also bring up the liberal white women is that right now we are a current political state, environment, psychology. Mentality is a good thing. Society is at a current mentality where a guy could say something, it doesn't matter. Oh, it's women, because our traits are more important than our character or than our abilities and intelligence, right? Because that's totally what Martin Luther King wanted. Right? So they are now on the stage. This is their time to shine. It's a she economy, blah, 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 blah. And I think white women have this kind of like, well, we know better. We're part of the elite class. So we're going to figure out we have there's nothing more dangerous than a liberal white woman with a master's degree. You don't have to send over nuclear weapons. Just send in one liberal white woman with a master's degree to tell everybody what to do. That country will be starving and destroyed worse than a ton of nuclear bombs hit it. But because the stage is now given to women and deference is given to women, you're going to, well, I know I have a doctorate in sociology. And I'm going to say, where's the beef? Where's your success? Where's your track record? I got some problems on my own team economists. Like, we're surprised there's inflation. Like, what? How did you not think there was going to be inflation? And I'm just kind of saying, hey, wait a minute. After $40 trillion, 6 decades, and no tangible improvement between disadvantaged classes, race, wage gap, everything else. Oh, student loan bail. Like, with no tangible improvement, are we going to double down now, Miss Liberal White Lady with her master's degree who needs a student loan bailout and other people's money? Are we gonna double down on this? Got news for you right now. If you don't know this, we can only, the Laffer Code would even prevent this. We spend 40% of our money on this crap, right? 40%. Like, we just need to increase taxes. I don't think you can increase taxes because people are going to stop working pretty soon. But you only got 60% more to go before you're a full-blown communist economy. I'm not even going to get into the consequences. Like, well, if you tax everybody 100%, ain't nobody going to work, so there'll be zero tax. You're all out of bullets is what I'm saying, ladies. You're all out of bullets. And by bullets, I mean other people's money. Because let's admit it, you're not going to use your own money, right? I mean, come on, right? There was no intention of you actually doing the work. You're just Jessica Christ. You know where everything goes. You just put you in charge, right, sweetheart? Like, this is it. This is it. This is where we can keep it up. We could keep paying 40% to fund all these various causes like we have before. But it's not working, and it won't. And you could go ahead and try and increase it, but it's just going to result in less tax revenue. All I'm saying, and for a more practical thing, I want to expose the liberal white women out there with their master, the declared experts, an expert in this thing. Well, how come you haven't solved it yet? If you're an expert, don't you have a solution? So let me give you a couple solutions. All right. One, when the liberal white lady cometh, you run the other way. All right. Those are the Lord of the Ring race come at you. Your neighborhood's about to go to absolute pot. Right. 2, all right, don't be getting none of these girls pregnant. This is for the guys. The ladies, don't get yourselves pregnant. All right. 3, don't major in dumb crap. What's dumb crap? Well, ask yourself, what do liberal white ladies major in? That's dumb crap. Then they're going to help out and see the flame. Why is the city burning down? 3 or 4, whatever, don't commit crime. And then 4, spend less than you make. And I'm not saying you got to vote Republican. I'm not saying that. Okay, I understand you might have some reservations, but maybe entertain not voting for the Democrats, or at least not living in a Are there Democrat people pooping in the streets where you live? Is it legal to steal up to $900 of stuff from stores? All right. Is the mayor or the governor of your state, town, saying we just need more of other people's money as people shoot themselves up with government needles? You don't want to live there, and you might want to rethink those policies that ended up to the point where adult Democrats are crapping in the streets. Just me. I don't know. You got one life. And then here's another thing that you could as we have a disproportionate amount of black men, although I think we're all on the same page. But if you have a younger man you're trying to introduce, all I have to ask you to do is this, and Latinos and other groups of people can do this, especially if you come from a poor family. All right. look at the generations of your forefathers, your parents, your grandparents, and all that, and say, what did they do? What were the common behaviors they did? I can almost predict to you right now, they had more kids than they could afford, or they had kids too early. All right, that's one. More commonly, there's drug problems. All right. And if anyone did make it to college, I'm the first person in my family to go to college. Just some dumb moron, 23-year-old child. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. College. What'd you major in? Journalism. Oh, it's even worse. You should have gone to college. You could have just worked at Wendy's. You would have been ahead. But I'm going to law school. Oh, it's over. You are poor for the rest of your life. So don't fall for that trap. But go back and look at what the decisions were. Look at what the Democrats were saying, liberal white woman or not, and then say, hey, I'm here. Pinch yourself. Ow, I'm alive. Do I want to suffer like the previous 6 generations of my forefathers and my kin? I don't. Maybe I do the opposite of what they did. Maybe when the liberal white woman when the liberal white lady from the suburb cometh, I do the opposite of what she says. If she says, well, here's some free money, I'll take the money, but I'm going to use it to get the hell out of this situation and go make my own money. So I'm not dependent on the liberal white lady. And hey, liberal white ladies, tell me one problem you just named me one problem you solved. One. I got more. I know liberal white ladies. I know you view black people as your pets. Okay. They're just, I'm going to, and that's Tyrone, and that's Jamal, and that's Marcus. I'm just going to help them all. I know you view them. You probably, I can't say it, but I know it just how little you think of your fellow people. All right. I want to know how many people you got out of poverty. I want to know how many people you closed the wage, income, wealth gap. I've actually gotten more black people out of poverty than you ever have because you haven't gotten one out. I have. Not a lot, but then again, it's not hard to beat the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party hasn't gotten one single black dude out of poverty. You just kept them in poverty. So for you liberal white ladies, I want to know one problem you solved. Are the children, the homeless? I mean, go back. I mean, the 50s were bad. Weren't people crapping in the streets? Weren't people doing heroin? I want to know one problem you solved. Trillions of dollars. We gave you all this. I mean, I've never been married. But it's been like, because, I'm white. Wisconsin, Minnesota, they're all over the place. It's like I was still married because they're constantly nagging about problems like, look, will you shut up? The garage isn't working. The dishwasher isn't working. Why you got them on the ground? And then there's poor people out there when there's a wage gap. I was like, man, I don't even get to have sex with you, and you're already nagging me about crap. That ain't my problem. And now it's like every man who's been married once in his life turns around. Will you shut the hell up and do something about it then? Waiting, ladies. Waiting. Name one thing. One thing. You all got student loan bailouts. You all chose the dumbest crap. You're going to save the world. You're going to make it. Well, let's see it. Let's see it. Where is it? And we deep down inside know why you're not going to be able to show any progress, despite getting a budget of $40 trillion in 6 decades, because you had no intention of actually helping people. It was also you could avoid real work, feel good about yourself, be popular, and above all else, not spend your money, but other people's money. And it's just getting tiring. It's just getting tiring. So I don't know, kind of put up or shut, but it's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. They're gonna still keep on going because it's more important that this video is not going to convince liberal white. Oh yeah, you're right. I should have some ethical reconsiderations about the efficacy of my life and if I'm actually helping out people like I say I am. All they want is to be popular. They want to go to their Democrat fundraising parties with the champagne and maybe a nickel per $1,000 makes it to the poor kid. Maybe, they get to play Jessica Christ. Ocasio-Cortez, I know she's Latin. I'm crowning her. I officially deem her a liberal white woman. I will give her that blessing. She is officially a liberal white woman now with her $16,000 dress. And I'd like to say, man, you liberal white women got to be pissed off when you're old and dying and you're like in your, I was going to say 50s, but 60s and 70s. You still haven't solved the damn problem. But I don't think you care. I think you're all right with it. Look at how smug Nancy Pelosi is. You think she cares that people in her district are crapping in the streets? She got her money. She's happy. Actually, I don't think she's happy. I think she's miserable. But I don't think she really cares. She got her money. I think that's what it was. She succeeded in that. So there you go. All right, let's see if we got any super chats. Think Cappy going to go to the gym to lift the weights to impress the liberal white ladies. W, $10. Anyone who has ever dated a woman knows the cycle. She has a dumb idea and won't listen to reason. Just straight off, right? Flat, right off the bat. You go along with it to avoid her making you miserable. Dumb idea, fellas. You get blamed. Repeat. No, you leave. You don't date that person. I mean, if you're married, look, guys, for those of you that are married or committed to a girl, you have every right to check her. I'm like, that's a dumb idea. Well, why? Because it's stupid. Because these reasons. And you have also you also have the right to say this word. No. Well, I was thinking about no, put it back. Whoa, wait, no, not in my house. You can put it in your house, not in my house. Stays out. Okay. And you'd be amazed how much more they respect you and like you, and you're not a doormat anymore. I always get a kick. People come around, man, it's really, really clean, really organized. And like, why do you let your girl buy what she wants? Because it's clean and organized. Which one do you want? If you let them have it, your house would be. Admittedly, there are male hoarders. Do you know the percent of hoarders? Let's look at percent of hoarders, male, female. Guarantee you women are going to win this by 3-1. Percentage of hoarders are female. Prevalence of hoarding female just controversial. 78%. What did I say? 3-1. 78%. Man, am I good? I'm good. I am good. I don't even have to look up these today. 78% was made up of how women. But I have nothing in my life but my nonprofit to help out the minorities. I need the trinkets and crap. I need my Range Rover. Oh, I know girl stuff is more important than guys. It is. It's more important you have your little doilies and doodads. What was the thing? Beanie Babies. It's more important you have that than you have a clean house where a husband could walk around. It's more important you have that than love. Oh, Sam Whiskey, $5. Cappy, you keep talking like that, the colonel will put you in the hole for 20 days. What's his name? Hertz Kula. We'll still be here when you get out. Just kidding. We are not allowed to. Hey, deadly serious. I'm not allowed to help out poor people and minorities and disadvantaged people. That's what this is about. We just sanctify liberal white women. Oh, they're all knowing. They have master's degrees. I'm like, where's the beef? Where's the production? Oh, you've made it worse. You've made it worse. Like, literally, you want to go against this? You are against my ultimate goal, which is to get poor people not being poor anymore, which disproportionately is minorities. I understand why liberal white women hated MLK, exposed their cover and their deep-seated delusion that they are anything to be admired. I don't know much I know MLK, just the basic tenets. And then the other guy, the cooler guy, Malcolm X. Just a very limited amount. If they didn't shove it down our throats as kids, maybe we'd be like, oh, what is that philosophically? It's like religion. Don't shove politics and religion down kids' throats. Just let them play with their trucks. Hex Monkey, $20. Liberal activism and Humanism has been a multi-decade group virtue signal to the world. Now that they see the destructive results, it's where did all the good men go? Consequences are hard, aren't they? We're not yet at the consequences stage. There's a little scratch in the back of their head, like, why aren't men in the labor force? What? They're asking, why can't I find a man, like in terms of dating as it pertains to them? But even some of the pros are saying, like, why aren't men in college? Why aren't men in the labor force? Oh, well, lolly, 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 more of other people's money, lolly, 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 la. When it ain't electricity, them like, oh, how's that social work degree working for you? All right, okay, let me tell you how it's going to work. The consequences that there are consequences. They're going into the workforce, they're getting masters. There's immediate consequences with their crippling college debts for jokes and completely unemployable degrees. There's consequences there. But in terms of macroeconomic consequence, it's starting to happen. Inflation, although largely due because we printed off more money, but also there's not as much production. The lack of quality men. Yes, you're right. The quality of men has gone down, ladies. I wonder why. Patriarchy. 15 shekels from Hebrew name. It boggles my mind how these people would rather destroy themselves and everything around them than admit fault. Right. No, the arrogance and hubris of liberals in general is impossible. Impossible. I mean, it's unscalable. They're just disgusting people. They really are. Like, man, if you really cared about the black community, wouldn't you say, well, what we're doing is not working. We can't have another generation go through like this. I mean, we have. We just shouldn't. We should, hey, we got to try a little bit something different. We need to Herman Cain up. Herman Cain would have been awesome. Herman Cain would have been great. Oh, no, we can't have him as president. I mean, it's up. Look, it's going to be up to us in the internet. Just being honest with your fellow friends, whether black or not, but just be honest with, look, you can't major in dumb stuff. No, don't get her pregnant, Jose. I don't care if it's part of your culture. Knock it off. Journey Trials at Joy, $10. I find it amazing that Americans don't realize the America their parents grew up in is gone. Voting won't save them. Think it's not been corrupted. Single people are angry at each other. I don't care anymore about America. I really don't. As it is right now, a very interesting and great place to make money. But I mean, like last night, like I told you guys, if you tune in a couple ago, it was like 6:50 in the evening. I'm like in bed. I'm like, I have nothing to do. I don't want to go out. I don't want to go to a bar and meet people. I already had a cigar. I did do my socializing. But I don't care to. I kind of rue going to Walmart when I need something because of all the ugly people. I just know there's nothing. Maybe I should go find, a fraternal order. Go join the Eagles or something and participate in that. Single people can be angry at each other. I don't care. That's fine. Journey Trials of Joy, $5. When men loses hope for the future, only hardship and misery follow. Yep. If we don't invest, there ain't nothing happening. There ain't going to be no roads. There ain't going to be no infrastructure. There won't be no electricity. Won't be no housing. Won't be no farming. Won't be no food. I mean, there will be, obviously, but there's going to be a lot less of it. The coming future will be a horror show. Yeah, I think so. I really do. For everyone else, not Cappy, not with my solar panels. What if I just come and take them? Well, come out, find out. Red Hawk. It's the Republicans in the Senate fold. Yep. I saw somewhere some lady's like, the Republic. I can't imagine how you're black and Republican. It's like, you do know the Republicans fought the Civil War to free the slaves, right? Do you know that much of U.S. history? Abraham Lincoln was not a Democrat. The Republicans fought the Civil War. It's always the Republicans in the Senate fault for not giving, what's a boon? Karen, not giving Karen other people's money. Oh. Journey Trials and Joy, $9. The older generation has failed. You can't complain about the state of women when male failed to raise them wives. Yeah, no, there's an element of that. I don't know how much control men had over women, um, especially with advances in technology and allowing everyone to support themselves. And we gave women the right to vote. And now, if you go back and look at voting, and he's right here, women were more Republican under, I think it was Eisenhower. Women were voting for a smaller state, ostensibly anyway. And the men wanted the larger state. It was like a two presidential election. We're like, really? So women were, but men, they vote, oh, yeah. They like FDR. They, oh, yes. LBJ, the welfare state, absolutely. So I don't think it was women didn't get control over women. I was just like, no, the technology allows it that women don't need men anymore. And here's a welfare state on top of it. Now it really is a choice for women, which I'm all for. Choose, ladies. I am macabrely fascinated in how little interest you have in men. It's on full parade of display. Just meant sex drives blind up to him. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. There's a parade in front of us. Look at that float. Look at those balloons. Look at the marching band over there called We Don't Want No Man Fish Bicycle. That's a snappy tune they're playing. We don't want no man. Give us a bicycle where the fish get out of here. Has a toe tapper. You can't fix this in a generation, 3 or 4 maybe. Yeah, we're going to have to go back to, you will have to go back to where, for whatever reason, women and men need each other. That's what we'd have to. Now, that would probably be economic and survival reasons. So the economy would really have to take a hit. But I don't know. Technology is pretty good. It's not like it takes that much anymore for food, clothing, and shelter. We unlocked the atom. We know how technology works. We figured out rotating crops and genetic engineering of crops. Yeah. Oh, then again, you look at Venezuela. It's not like you don't have the technology we don't. You're just a bunch of lazy, dumbass people who voted socialist. How is that free money working under Maduro? Is that working well? Es bueno en el sur, verdad? ¿Dónde está el queso? Maduro. Viva Maduro. Do you liberal white women masturbate to Maduro? Like, he's kind of a sexy man. Got that mustache. He's one of the few Venezuelans that have food. Do you like Che Guevara? He's gone, but do you girls like masturbate to Maduro? You're like, oh my God, he's such a communist. He's killed so many people. Robert Flores, $10. The looker girls with good content on YouTube who don't do spicy side vids still get 100,000 in a year. Well, yeah, it's not that hard. I don't know how many times I've said I will pay for like PG-13 modeling. We can't have you pure and clean. Rated R would get kicked off on too many platforms. I don't think it would sell well. What do you think? I got girls banging on my door like, hey, I'll volunteer. I did have one, and bless her, she's just a little too old for the audience. That's all. Yeah, it's not. Heck, it's probably advice I give my daughter. I'm like, look, okay, you're gonna major in engineering because you're gonna get old and people aren't going to have sex with you anymore. You're gonna become an accountant. But if you want to do some simple like PG-13 modeling, okay, but you're gonna have to skew it this way. You're gonna take your money. You're gonna put on a wig. You're gonna change your face so no one knows who you are. You're gonna go buy an alias. You're gonna take the money and you're gonna invest it. And then I never have to worry about you moving back in home with me, which I would never allow anyway. And then like, okay, now you got your money. There you go. And here's a great guy who's got his CPA with an undergrad in chemical engineering. But he's only 5'11". You're going to marry him or you're out of the family. Thank God I didn't have children, eh? All right. Some of them freak out with intensity of male attention, so they introduce their boyfriend secure. Wait a minute. Some of them freak out with the intensity, so they introduce their boyfriend. Oh, yeah. Or they just grab a guy. Hey, here's my boyfriend. Hey, everybody. Sam Whiskey, $2. Cappy, why do men go to baby shower? They are pussies. They have lost all control. They have no self-respect. maybe the food's good. Okay, I'll grant you that. Like, if there's some good food there, like, yeah, you show up, but I'm not sticking around. Boy, a lot of comments. Kurt Patrick, $10. What kind of cigars do you recommend? My favorite is a Cusano M1. I think you can only get those online now. I have not seen a cigar lounge in years that has them. I'm also partial to the Connecticut Nub and PDM Shade. I like those. The cigars have gone down in the years. I used to have a cigar. I'm like, man, this is really good. I don't know if it's the weather or the fertilizer or the seasons or what, but the tobacco has not increased in quality, has gone down in quality. Not a lot, but enough for me to notice. Hex Monkey, $10. I'm generally sad about the midterms, inflation, censorship, crime, violence near World War III, and 40-50% of voters said yes, more please. Escape blue state in 22, but it's a national. You don't read my book, Enjoy the Decline. If it really bothers you that much, that's what the book is about. Enjoy the Decline. You change your environment. You move to where there's not Marxist leftist crime and crap. You just move to where the filthy humans aren't. Go to where adult Democrats don't poop in the streets. I personally am developing a plan B. I got to go travel to Asia, go scope out property, get a really good skill. So no matter where you go, you're employed. Make sure your immediate family or the immediate people within your immediate environment are good quality people. Like, I do not tolerate Democrat friends. I do not tolerate Democrat family members. I do not conduct business if I can avoid it with Democrats or leftists or parasites of one variety or another. I don't spend more than you make, and that's about it. But you just remove yourself from the situation. I don't work for Democrats. Like, if you're a woke corporate, if I have to go get a job, I'm not doing diversity and inclusion training. I'm just not happening. All right, there you go. All right. Questions and answers, assholeconsulting.com. If you want me to pay, I have a list of originals. We could talk about interesting stuff as well. I have a ton of originals. Oh, 300 people. Why don't you guys subscribe to the channel? Give me up to 100,000. We're getting pretty close. We're about 4,000 away. And then link below, I think, is the book Enjoy the Decline. So Hex, you might want to take a look at that. And you guys can do that. All right. See you guys later. Toodles.